video.
It's like, as a young girl, you play in boys league because at that time your dad couldn't find a girls league for you.
Yeah.
But right now things has changed a little bit. So in the future, what do you want to see, like, or the things for girls basketball to be improved?
Yeah, I think just like more and more opportunities, and I think that's exactly what's happening because there's going to be more and more young girls that love basketball or love another sport and believe that they can be really good at it. And I think it kind of starts with the stage that I'm playing on right now.
Listen to what she just said. Look past the actual words and notice what's completely absent. Caitlin Clark just outlined her entire roadmap for women's basketball's future in 35 seconds and somehow never touched the elephant that's been sitting in every WNBA room for 8 straight months. Zero acknowledgement of the online feuds. No nod to the rookie controversy that dominated headlines. Nothing about veteran players who spent months questioning her league impact.
Sports gods aligned, and I literally had that video out like less than an hour after the ad came out for Caitlin Clark and Nike. By the way, if I remember correctly, it aired in the third quarter of the Cowboys-Redskins NFL game. And I figured I said it in the video, I figured that's why this ad dropped yesterday, was for the NFL and NBA slate. Of course, the NBA, that yesterday's basically their biggest day of the year outside of any finals games.
Instead, she's discussing young girls in China witnessing professional women's basketball. She's zeroed in on global TV exposure and worldwide growth. She's envisioning the next wave of players who haven't even touched a basketball yet. This gap between Caitlin's priorities versus everyone else's obsessions reveals exactly why Nike finally unleashed that commercial in December.
Now, I don't know, is it hard to find opportunities to play basketball as a young girl? I know even here in rural East Texas, we had junior high and high school girls basketball, even in a very small school like I went to, which was like, we literally had 500 students, 800 students in the whole school. I can't remember now. My senior class had 32 people in it. But we had full team.
Now let's break down this timing. Because everything aligned perfectly on Christmas Day, this conversation with Chinese creator Telfer Tong releases December 26, asking Caitlin about women's basketball's trajectory, and barely 24 hours before that, Nike debuts their first major Caitlin Clark commercial during Cowboys-Commanders' third quarter NFL action.
You know, it's getting the young girls to get out and play. By the way, that's where she comes in, WNBA. We better start respecting her because she's the one that's going to draw the eyes. I haven't seen a good Nike commercial in years. And her commercial yesterday, I'm not going to play it again. It was really damn good. I mean, it's a lot of people pointed out what took so damn long, Nike, but it was really good. So, a little reaction from this video right here. Of course, the tagline is "from anywhere," meaning she can shoot a three and hit it from anywhere.
This ad launches on one of sports' biggest viewing days, wedged between NBA Christmas matchups and Netflix's trainwreck NFL debut. Nobody's calling that chance. This is pure calculated execution. Nike understood exactly their play here. Released this commercial when millions of casual sports viewers would be watching, folks who might skip WNBA coverage but absolutely recognize Caitlin Clark.
About time. This is one cool ad, and about time Nike from anywhere. Yeah, I mean, even State Farm. Somebody who sponsors her just weighed in on another sponsor's actual ad. That's pretty wild. State Farm, especially from the logo. That's good. That's good. 100. From Iowa to anywhere, Caitlin Clark. Gamebridge Sports. There we go. Fire. I mean, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I think Caitlin and MJ and Larry Bird do a commercial from back in the day. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. I grew up in a Larry Bird fan, a major Larry Bird fan, and Charles Barkley.
The Anywhere tagline connects directly to her signature weapon, those logo threes that melted social media during her Iowa run, and according to viewer reactions, this commercial was Nike's best work in years. But check out what makes this timing even more strategic. This interview where Caitlin discusses expanding the game internationally, bringing women's basketball to markets like China, creating chances for young girls to witness professional players firsthand, that drops one day after Nike positions her not as some WNBA player, not even just a basketball athlete, but as a global sports icon who can launch from anywhere and carry the brand on any stage.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool. She's amazing. Yeah, making the three from the logo anywhere. Anywhere. It was just good. I mean, honestly, great commercial. Wonder what took Nike so long to put something like this out. Nevertheless, awesome spot. I don't get it. I mean, this commercial could have, about effing time, Nike. I mean, this commercial could have been put out like the first month she hit the league. I still don't think we can act like Nike's done a good job with this.
We had some solid players back then. Catch this perspective because it shows something essential about how Caitlin understands her journey here. She's describing rural East Texas, a school with 500 total students, senior class of 32 kids, and even in that tiny environment they fielded complete girls basketball teams. They had players talented enough for all district recognition.
Yeah, I think just like more and more opportunities, and I think that's exactly what's happening because there's going to be more and more young girls that love basketball or love another sport and believe that they can be really good at it. And I think it kind of starts with the stage that I'm playing on right now. The more we can be on TV and the more people can come and watch us and buy a ticket, or we can go to places like China or wherever it's at globally to help grow the game and allow people to see us play basketball, I think is a really important and powerful thing when you really get to see people you idolize up close. Those were some of the most impactful moments of my childhood, so I know how impactful that can be for young girls today.
Some girl named Melissa, who could compete at high levels despite being in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Caitlin's message isn't that chances don't exist. Her father connected her with a boys' league early on because that's where real competition lived. Not because girls' basketball was missing. The opportunities exist. The foundation exists.
So, Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark has already made a massive impact on the growth of women's basketball, has experienced over the last few years. In fact, she, along with several others, because my God, y'all can't not name somebody else, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, please, has been the driving force in this growth, especially within the WNBA. While there have been popular players and well-known names in women's basketball before Clark came on the scene, there's no question her global renown is unprecedented when compared to her peers. Clark's global name value holds a lot of weight when compared to some of the biggest men's basketball players. There's no question that Clark in women's basketball as a whole still has a lot of room to grow and evolve, both as a business and in terms of its prominence in.
What's absent is the exposure, the motivation, the chance for young girls to flip on their television and watch women dominating basketball at elite levels, earning millions, starring in Nike commercials during NFL broadcasts. That's the void Caitlin's working to bridge, and she's savvy enough to recognize that her part in bridging that gap isn't about commenting on every drama or responding to every hater. Her job is being so undeniably elite, so visible, so accomplished, that young girls witness her success and think, that's my goal. You can't motivate tomorrow's generation if you're constantly caught up in today's generation's noise. This is where the WNBA better start listening, because this insight isn't coming from some random observer. This comes from someone tracking the league closely enough to spot trends. The recognition that Nike hasn't delivered quality commercials in years, then suddenly drops content pulling 2.5 million views in under 24 hours. The irritation that this commercial should have launched on draft night back in April 2024. Consider that timeline. Caitlin Clark goes first overall to Indiana Fever April 15, 2024. She instantly becomes women's basketball's biggest storyline, possibly women's sports entirely. Her professional debut smashes television rating records. Every venue she visits completely sells out. The financial impact hits immediately and undeniably. And Nike, who locked her into a massive endorsement package before she even joined the WNBA, waits 8 full months to release their first major commercial featuring her. That's not smart brand strategy, that's literally throwing away money. That's completely missing the cultural explosion while it's happening. That Christmas Day commercial would have absolutely destroyed in April. When the excitement peaked at maximum levels, when every sports media platform ran daily Caitlin Clark impact stories, when the league experienced attention they'd never seen before, but Nike held back. While they eventually created excellent content, that delay raises serious questions about whether they grasped what they possessed. State Farm definitely grasped it. They were running Caitlin Clark campaigns almost instantly. When State Farm's official account comments, especially from the logo on Nike's commercial, that's not just brands being friendly. That's one sponsor who moved fast, calling out another sponsor who moved like molasses. Finally, we're reaching the real discussion, because these comments show what fans genuinely want to witness. Someone pitches Caitlin doing commercials with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, recreating those legendary Nike campaigns from the 90s. Another person asks about a Caitlin Clark Space Jam film. And reactions are instant and passionate, because that's actually brilliant. Think about original Space Jam with Michael Jordan. That movie earned $230 million globally and created a cultural moment that introduced an entire generation to basketball through entertainment. It succeeded because Jordan sat at his cultural peak, completely transcending sports itself. The sequel, featuring LeBron in 2021, despite having massive budgets and cutting-edge effects, felt manufactured and corporate. It made profits, but never captured that same cultural magic. But a Space Jam film with Caitlin Clark right now, in 2024 or 2025, while her cultural influence stays fresh and genuine, that could absolutely work. She's got crossover appeal, she's got personality, she's got that underdog narrative that connects with kids, and crucially, she's got something LeBron's Space Jam sequel lacked. She's still fresh enough that the movie wouldn't scream corporate money grab. It would feel like celebrating someone genuinely transforming the game. The Larry Bird comparisons keep surfacing in these comments, and it's not random. Bird was legendary for incredible shooting range and trash-talking ability, while backing everything up with elite performance. Caitlin carries that same energy, that same confidence, that same skill for hitting shots from seemingly impossible distances. A commercial featuring Bird, Jordan, and Clark. 3 generations of Nike athletes known for their shooting and swagger would pack incredible symbolic power. Look, this commercial is fantastic. This frustration you're hearing makes complete sense. That Nike commercial from Christmas Day 2024 could have been produced and launched during Caitlin's first WNBA month. Nothing in that advertisement required 8 months of waiting. That footage could have been captured in May or June. The concept, from anywhere, was already proven during her college run. The cultural explosion was already happening, and the data proves Nike left massive engagement sitting on the table. That commercial reached 2.5 million views on Nike's official channel alone in day one. That doesn't include sports media sharing it, reaction videos, social clips, news coverage. Total reach probably hit 10 times that figure. Now picture those numbers in April 2024, when Caitlin Clark owned every sports headline. When every casual fan tuned in to see if the hype was real, draft night would have been perfect. Caitlin goes first overall to Indiana. Broadcast cuts to commercial break. Suddenly, there's a Nike spot showing her drilling shots from impossible ranges with the Anywhere tagline. That's capitalizing on cultural moments. That's converting sports excitement into brand loyalty. That's basic marketing fundamentals. And somehow, Nike, one of the planet's most advanced marketing machines, completely whiffed. This delay gets even stranger considering Nike had to see this coming. They signed Caitlin to a deal reportedly worth 8 years and $28 million before the draft happened. They knew she'd become women's basketball's face. They knew the attention she'd create. They had months preparing for her WNBA arrival. Yet the first major commercial doesn't appear until December, after the season's finished, after playoffs concluded, after cultural conversations moved to different topics. Return to what Caitlin said in that interview, because this part matters most. She's not discussing fixing infrastructure, or changing regulations, or addressing league drama. She's discussing visibility, getting more TV coverage, letting people buy tickets and actually attend games in person, expanding the game to international markets like China, where basketball thrives but women's basketball still develops, building moments where young fans witness their heroes up close, and she speaks from personal experience. Here, she mentions that seeing people she admired personally created some of her childhood's most powerful moments. Those experiences shaped her understanding of possibilities. They made professional basketball feel real and achievable, not some impossible dream. She recognizes that she's now positioned to create those experiences for tomorrow's generation. That's what the Nike commercial represents. That's what international exhibitions represent. That's what record television ratings represent. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark's personal achievements, or Indiana Fever ticket sales, or WNBA revenue increases. Though all those elements matter, it's about building a sustainable pipeline of young girls who grow up watching women's basketball, who view it as a realistic career option, who develop skills with WNBA goals in mind. Check out what makes Caitlin Clark's global recognition unprecedented in women's basketball. This isn't about U.S. popularity, strong social media presence, or selling out major market arenas. This is about name recognition rivaling male basketball superstars on an international level when Chinese content creators seek out Caitlin interviews specifically, when Nike drops commercials designed for global audiences, when conversations shift from biggest WNBA star to biggest names in basketball period, that's entirely different territory. Reports mention Clark's global name value competing with some of men's basketball's biggest players. That's not exaggeration. During 2024's WNBA season, Caitlin Clark games regularly destroyed NBA games in television ratings. Her jersey became WNBA history's fastest-selling piece. International sports media that never touched WNBA coverage suddenly ran daily stories about her performances. That's crossover appeal transcending sports itself. Yes, Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers deserve recognition too, because this growth isn't happening alone. The rivalry between Caitlin and Angel, starting in college and continuing into WNBA, created compelling stories that pulled casual fans in. Paige Bueckers, maintaining excellence at UConn, kept college women's basketball spotlighted even after Caitlin graduated. Rising tides lift all boats here. But let's acknowledge the impact scale honestly. Caitlin Clark handles interviews with international creators about the sport's future. She gets Nike commercials airing during NFL games. She's the one whose presence or absence determines whether WNBA games draw 2 million viewers or 400,000. It doesn't minimize other players' accomplishments. It just recognizes who's driving most of this unprecedented growth. The WNBA had popular players before: Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Diana Taurasi, Candace Parker, all household names who elevated the league's profile during their careers. But none achieved this television rating impact. Ticket sales surge, merchandise revenue explosion, and international recognition. None forced the league rescheduling games to bigger venues because demand exploded so dramatically. None generated enough economic value that teams publicly discussed revenue sharing because market disparities became so extreme. That's what unprecedented means. Not that Caitlin is the only player mattering, but that her impact, scale, and speed has zero historical comparison in women's basketball. If the WNBA is smart, if Nike is smart, if everyone involved in women's basketball thinks clearly, they'll recognize these moments don't appear often. You rarely get chances to capture mainstream attention and convert casual interest into lifelong fandom, which returns us to that Nike commercial and why 8 months delay was such a wasted opportunity. Caitlin Clark's rookie season was a cultural explosion. Every game became an event, every performance got analyzed and debated. Attention was organic and real, not manufactured by marketing teams. That's perfect environment for major brands amplifying what's already happening, riding waves of genuine public interest, and converting it into lasting brand connections. Instead, Nike waited until December, after seasons ended, after playoffs finished, after attention trendy faded. The commercial rocks. Production quality excels. The concept works perfectly, but it's arriving months after the peak moment passed. It's like celebrating championship teams in February, instead of immediately after they win titles. Sure, people still show up, but you've lost emotional intensity that makes those moments special. Here's what should concern the WNBA and all stakeholders. Caitlin Clark won't stay new forever. The novelty of her arrival, excitement watching her transition from college superstar to professional star, her rookie season drama, all of that was one-time opportunity. Year 2 stays interesting, but won't carry that same fresh energy. By year 3, she's an established veteran, and conversations shift to whoever the next big college star becomes. That's why timing matters enormously. That's why waiting 8 months for major commercials was such strategic failure. You can't recover that rookie season. You can't recreate that specific moment when the entire sports world paid attention to see if Caitlin Clark could match the hype. Nike had chances joining that moment in real time and chose showing up late to the party instead. Good news is the commercial itself generates massive engagement despite delays. 2.5 million views in 24 hours proves people still care. Caitlin's star power hasn't dimmed just because season's over, but imagine what those numbers could have reached in April or May when momentum peaked. Imagine the cultural impact of that commercial dropping right as Caitlin shattered rookie records and led the Fever to their first playoff appearance in years.